Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy coming at you with a top 10 women's and men's for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. You know, it's just right around the corner. You're probably watching this video on a Friday or perhaps a Saturday, so that means it's coming up because it would be on Sunday. So you have just enough time to jot down some notes and check out some of these fragrances that I am suggesting. Let me know in comments if you choose, or if just by coincidence you ended up wearing one of the fragrances listed on this list. I would love to know that. Please let me know in comments. Before we dive in on the notes then, I wanted to say this. Instead of having a top 10, like top 10 women, top 10 men, 10, 9, 8, in terms of my favorites, I didn't do that way. I wanted to have different categories, different situations. So like a best for a certain day, a certain moment. And I did it that way. So what categories do I have in mind for you? Stay tuned and find out. All right, so welcome back. Before I dive in, of course, I must welcome everybody who subscribed since last Friday. Thank you very, very much. Yet again, we have just had a box of chocolates full of subscribers, and I really appreciate that. In this list here, I've got 11. I've got a top 10 plus an honorable mention, and which, of course, is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I hope you appreciate that. On the 11th honorable mention, of course, must be, I have a fair amount of people who watch the channel each episode regardless of the topic. So they just enjoy watching each episode, and I'm always so appreciative of you, especially if I look at a house that's not incredibly popular. I really appreciate that. And so for you, I'm adding this category, which is anti-St. Valentine's Day. So what fragrances would be best for those folks who are not into St. Valentine's Day at all? Okay? And of course, what you would do then is you would wear your signature scent. So on the men's side, of course, I have to go with Acqua di Gio pour Homme. And on the women's side, I have to go with Spellbound by Estée Lauder. Those two will not be changing in the next 3,000 years. Okay, so let's get to the top 10. Now, I originally thought for different categories I would go by age, like teens, 20s, 30s. But then I was going to have too much overlap with certain fragrances when I got to things like romantic night out, etc. But I didn't get rid of one age group, which of course is the teens, because it's so much fun. So we have to think of Valentine's Day of just turning 16, getting your driver's license, and going out on Valentine's Day for your very first time, where you are driving and you're not having the parents drop you off at Dairy Queen, okay, or Jiffy Tree. All right, so let's go. On the men's side, on the boys' side, it would have to be, and I dare you to say this without smiling, Dark Temptation by Axe. You can't do it, can you? Dark Temptation by Axe rules. I really don't care what age group, but it really is for the teens. And what list would be complete without a teen homage to Axe? Okay, and then on the girls' side, we have to go with one that is actually very nice, but it is associated more with high school, which of course is Viva La Juicy by Juicy Couture, high school / college. Really, really nice fragrance. Actually made it onto my top 20 list for women. Okay, now that is number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is best for a day by yourself. Some of you are going to choose to spend a day completely on your own. And so for that day, you would wear a fragrance that you like, but which you've never received any compliments on. And so on the men's side, I'm going to have to go with Eternity Aqua by Calvin Klein, because I love Eternity Aqua. I've had the deodorant, the body spray, and the multiple bottles of the fragrance. In fact, I was hesitating only because I was trying to think if I've even had the body wash, but I pretty much had everything of Eternity Aqua, and I can assure you, I don't think I've ever gotten an actual unsolicited compliment on that one. I still like it, and I would wear it on that day. On the women's side, you got to go with Michael by Michael Kors. Really, really nice fragrance that flew under the radar. I've never really seen a lot of people talk about that one. And so that's the one I chose. Obviously, I'm not a woman, but in my case, I would choose that one because I've always really gravitated to that fragrance. I think it smells wonderful. And it was discontinued. Haven't seen a lot of love for it, and so I'm going to go with that one. Number 8 is best for a day spent with friends. So the two fragrances I would go with are both by Dolce & Gabbana, which is just a same house, which is just a coincidence. And on the men's side, I'm going to go with Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, and on the women's side, I'm going to go with Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. Just both crowd pleasers. They're just wonderful fragrances. It's great to pick up and smell them. And I don't see anyone. These are not, these are inoffensive. They're not offensive fragrances. They're just pleasant. They are quite nice. All right, so the 7th category is best for a day spent with family. So if you're spending the day with the fam, on the masculine side, I would go with Chrome by Azzaro, a great gift giver, a wonderful fragrance, actually. 365 days, and it's a year fragrance, and it's the one that I always mention is kind of like the perfect fragrance for people who are like, look, I don't care about seasons, anything. Just give me one thing that smells great, okay, within my budget. Chrome fits that. It's just a wonderful fragrance. And then on the women's side, well, I chose, of course, Daisy by Marc Jacobs, another fragrance that is great to give as a gift. The original, of course, just smells fantastic, and it would be it's just a great perfume. Really holds its own and is a classic. Number 6, first date. So for the first date, I had a tie on the men's side. I had Gentleman Only by Givenchy. And it's funny because I always think that's by YSL, but it's not. It's Givenchy. And then the second one that's tied is Prada Amber, which has like Amber Man. It has like 4 names, but Prada Amber Pour Homme is another one that's the one that everyone says smells like luxurious soap, and it does, but it also has kind of a leather note to it, and I really appreciate that one as well. I couldn't decide, and so for all 28 people who are going to watch this, it's a tie. So Gentleman Only by Givenchy or Prada Amber Pour Homme. Really like both of them, and they're both they make a great first impression. They're both very nice. If you wanted something more on the soapy side, you would go Prada Amber, and if you wanted something slightly more masculine, although still classic, you would go Gentleman Only. On the women's side, I went Dolce & Gabbana Intense, and of course it's the one in the red felt box. Really like that one, and that would be a great choice because I just can't see how anyone would dislike that one. They might say it's just kind of there, but I think that's the worst thing. I really like it, and I think it makes a great first impression, which is why I chose it for a first date. Okay, now on category number 5. So best for a day spent with a significant other. And this one, the idea behind this is a day only, right? So this is something that you would go for lunch, you would spend the day like hiking, or you would, jump out of an airplane together. I don't know, some sort of outdoor activity, perhaps with beginning or ending with maybe like a brunch or a lunch, or maybe a very early supper. So in that one, I chose the same fragrance for both men and women, which is Atelier's Clementine, California. I just think that'd be a great choice if you're going to be outdoors. It's light. It's just very nice, and that's what I chose for best for a day spent with your significant other. Number 4 is best for a romantic night out. Things are heating up, my friends. Best for a romantic night out. I had a tie again on the masculine side. You know what's coming, at least on one of them. One of the ones on the man's side for a romantic night out. And so let's look into this. When I say romantic night out, what I mean is you're going to be in different places, and because you're out and about, like at restaurants, live music, wherever you want to go, some sort of social event, Valentine's party, you'll be in a bigger area, and so you'll be able to wear something that projects quite a bit, and that won't be a detriment because you're not in close quarters yet. Okay, so on the masculine side, you're looking at definitely Pure Malt by Thierry Mugler, or yep, you got it, Man in Black by Bulgari. That both of those, they're just I was too stressed out to decide, so I'm going to call it a tie. If you're asking me though, here's what I would do. I would alternate years. How's that? Every other year I'd wear one. So there you go. And on the women's side, I'm going to go with Chance by Chanel. That is just a wonderful fragrance. I love everything about that fragrance. It does project a lot, but that is a good thing because, like I said, if you're going to be out, it also has great longevity, and that's what you want again if you're going to be going out, all night. And so, perfect choices for those two. Number 3. Best for a romantic night in. All right, so this is kind of the opposite. Instead of a romantic night out where you're going to be, out all night, this is for a cozy romantic night in. My choice on the masculine side would be Burberry Touch. I love Burberry Touch because, as I've said before, the projection is right what you want. But then the longevity is phenomenal. So that is a great perfume fragrance if you want to wear something that's not going to be too off-putting in close quarters, because again, some of these fragrances project so much that they're going to make the person cough if they get close to you. Burberry Touch is not the case, but I love that it doesn't dissipate either, and it's not gone after 2 or 3 hours. That is just a phenomenal fragrance. And then on the women's side, got to go with J'adore by Christian Dior. Now that one does project a little bit better than Burberry Touch, but it doesn't project way too much. I think it's just perfect. It smells fantastic. Projection is just about is what you would want if you were, again, in close quarters for a romantic night in. Just a brilliant. I mean, what can be said about J'adore? I mean, if that isn't a 5 out of a 5 fragrance, what is? Okay, and that one is best for a romantic night in. Number 2, best for a weekend getaway. Now, the idea behind this one is, you wouldn't have to, of course. You could choose either the men or the women's side. But my thinking was that this is more for like a couple, weekend getaway, and that you could wear the same fragrance. You don't have to, of course, but that was my thinking. And so I was thinking of something that would be unisex and something that both could wear and would want to wear together. And on the men's side, it'd be Hanemori for men. I really like that one. It is just a wonderful fragrance and works well on women's skin, and Hanemori is a great choice. And then on the women's side, I would go easily with Black Orchid by Tom Ford. I love both of them, and if I had to choose, one possibility would be that we would go out all day with Hanemori, and then maybe for the nighttime events, Black Orchid. But seriously, either one, or maybe Saturday, maybe Friday one fragrance and Saturday the other, whatever you'd want to do. But I wanted to include both of them. All right, folks, here we are. Number 1 category, which is called My Top Picks. And for my top picks this year, I'm going to go with, on my end, L'Instant de Guerlain Extrême, which in FragCom it is affectionately known as LIDGE. We go by the acronym because it's L'Instant de Guerlain Extrême. And I don't know if that's right in French, but that's my attempt. But we just call it LIDGE, which is the acronym for that. LIDGE is phenomenal. It probably projects a little bit too much, maybe if you were going to have a romantic night in, especially in the first 2 or 3 hours. But wow, I mean, it's just an amazing fragrance, and I'm going to be wearing that on Sunday. I love every single thing about that, except for the fact that it's a little too hard to find. But you can reverse that and say, I'm probably the only one in this community that has it. So there. That's why it's my men's pick this year. And this year, on the women's side, have to go with my contemporary favorite, which is Narciso Rodriguez for her EDP, the Parfum. Love that fragrance. Probably a little bit too floral, perhaps, for some women. I guess for the ladies out there, if you're not a fan of really floral fragrances, this one wouldn't be your thing. Other than that, though, wow, it is just a fantastic perfume. I love everything about that one, and that would be my choice and my top pick on the women's side this year. All right, so there you have it, folks. That is the different categories for St. Valentine's Day. Are you, like I said, even if it's after Valentine's Day when you're watching this, did you wear on Valentine's Day any of these fragrances? Do you have them? What do you think of them? Let me know in comments. I love to read them and to know more about what you like and wore on that particular day. All right, so another episode by the boards. I've really enjoyed the top 10, and I wanted to do men and women's both in the same episode. This was a lot of fun for me, and I hope you enjoyed the different categories, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful week. Looking forward to seeing you next Friday, and always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. All right, finally, the last one, the number one category, egotistically is my top picks. And so I'm going to go with this year. I do not have Man in Black right now, but that's just because I love it so much. I've used all of it, and I need to get a new bottle. But on the men's side this year, I'm going to go with L'Instant Dégarlant Extrême. And in Fragcom, we call this, it goes by Lidge. And so 1, 2, 3. All right, so the time has come to the number one category, which I have egotistically called my top picks. This year, for me on the men's side, I'm going to be looking at L'Instant 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.